Good morning. It is Friday, January the 13th, 2023. I'm Pearson Bowen. This is the CBC Morning Report. The Technical and Vocational Education and Training Council is looking to build out technical studies in the areas of cybersecurity and animation. Executive Director of the TVET Council, Henderson Eastman, says these areas will benefit the island as training people in them will create global citizens. He told CBC News these new initiatives are to begin this year.
We have standards, and we say level 3 standards in cybersecurity, animation, network administration, social media management, e-commerce, robotics, PV systems, and we are having something on game design. Now, in terms of animation, we have an associate and a technical degree developed, and also only today I got the game design associate and technical degree that we wish to implement. But we are looking to implement a lot of these standards because these are the lower hanging fruit: the animation, the cybersecurity, and the game design. People can sit at their computer and work and earn money from trillion-dollar industries overseas, and that money will come down to the economy.
Mr. Eastman says while they want to target these areas, they realize there is a shortage of individuals to deliver, and the council will become a hub and digitize the programs for delivery so that self-study is possible.
We spend the money up front, digitize the curricula and the assessment where possible, put it on an LMS, learning management system, so that institutions can access. Because one of the problems is finding people and getting additional teachers. And the council is willing to embark on the project to digitize the curricula so that institutions can access it. And then we can support the institutions by supporting them with facilitators. So the content will be there that the institutions can access and deliver this new and up-to-date material to their students.
Well, yes, costs will be incurred in the digitization process, and as such, the TVET Council wants to work with the institutions and private sector to facilitate the training.
If we can find some person in the private sector, we'll see if we can get a person from the private sector. But if we can't find a person from the private sector that can work with us, we are in a position, because the IT areas are easy, because you can get a facilitator to work online from any place in the world. So we're looking for partners. We now have an embassy in Ghana, and we have an embassy in Kenya. And we have been in contact with universities in Ghana and Kenya through the Commonwealth of Learning. So finding resource personnel will not be a difficult job. Of course, it will be an increase in payment, but it will not be. The thing is that in order to deliver a program at community college or deliver a program at SJPI, you got new staffing. So you wouldn't really need a person on staff. And how staff are developed at these institutions, you have to apply to the Ministry of Public Service, and that's an increased budget for the government.
The TVET boss says he won't really need a teacher once the information is digitized.
That person will not be a teacher, it will be a facilitator. For example, all the content, and it will be arranged, when you digitize it, it will be arranged as online instructional self-study material that the student can use. You'll need a facilitator to facilitate questions that they want to ask, anything that, they find difficult. But it will not be a teacher teaching full-time delivering the course. It'll be a facilitator, right? When you do assessments, if those assessments cannot be marked and scored electronically, that person will mark the assessments and give you feedback, etc. So it wouldn't be like a full-time teacher standing in front of a class and delivering, because the material itself is pedagogical material.
And to be able to facilitate this change of modality, TVET has staff who are trained to do the digitization.
5 staff members, who have been trained how to digitize curricula through the ILO. We paid for those courses through the International Labour Organization of tutoring. And we are beginning this year with 2. We are looking at the social media management and the e-commerce, for which we already have curricula developed. So what we're going to do, we can move right away to have those curricula digitized and the assessment digitized. So within the next 3-4 months, we want that completed because we want to implement those by September. And then while that is being done, we are going to be building the curricula for the cybersecurity, network administration, the animation, and the robotics, right? And we're going to be building the curriculum. But when we build the curriculum, we are not building curriculum now. We are not stopping there. When we build the curriculum, we'll digitize it at the same time. So we are looking now that within, probably by January, we can introduce some of these other courses as they are digitized. And we're in contact, we're meeting with the institutions to do that.
You're watching the CBC Morning Report. We're right back with more after this.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Trinidad and Tobago is reporting an increase in COVID-19 patients requiring hospitalization since the Christmas season last year. Principal Medical Officer Dr. Memoriam Richards updated the country during the latest COVID-19 press briefing.
The parallel healthcare system continues to be in operation, but as per policy directive from the Honourable Minister of Health, we had started a process of transitioning the parallel healthcare system. That is, we have built-in capacity within the individual RHAs or within the traditional healthcare system to manage COVID-19 cases under strict guidelines for infection prevention and control. So there is capacity within the parallel healthcare system, as you all would have known, and we would have discussed extensively. And now there is new capacity in what we would term a hybrid system within the RHAs. And these changes will be brought across in next week's weekly media release. I'd also like to share some information now, moving on, about the number of cases and the demand for care. Dr. Hines would have indicated that as of December, we would have noticed an increase in the confirmed 7-day rolling average of confirmed cases, and this inevitably leads to an increase in the demand for hospital beds. And this graph demonstrates, if we look at the bottom line here with the orange bars, demonstrates that there has been an increased demand for hospital care and hospital beds over the last month. And this really coincides with that increase in cases. Specifically, we have noted that increase from December the 8th, and it has been consistent on a daily basis. So for just over 1 month now, there has been an increased demand for care. I'd like to now draw your attention to the actual number of COVID-19 patients in the 9 hospitals in the parallel healthcare system and in the now hybrid system. And as of 8 a.m. this morning, there were 71 COVID-19 patients being treated in the public health system. 50 of those patients are in the parallel healthcare system, while 21 are in the hybrid system.
Well, given the increased movement within the population as Carnival approaches, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley urged people to take preventative measures against COVID-19, including wearing masks. Residents have been told Carnival 2023 will go on and there will be no disruption to the economy or restrictions on travel. The UN has accused China of underreporting the death toll from its ongoing COVID outbreak. The official number is still low. Even though hospitals and crematoria have been inundated since China scrapped its zero COVID policy. CNN's Selena Wang went to a funeral home in Beijing where signs of the rising death toll are impossible to ignore.
COVID lockdowns may be over in China, but for many, there's misery at the end of zero COVID. The virus is overwhelming hospitals across the country. The sick struggle to get help. Patients crammed into every available space, every hallway and corner of this northern Chinese hospital. Not everyone survives the struggle. Rows of bodies filled this funeral home storage room in Liaoning province, though we don't know how many died of COVID. In Jiangsu, families in mourning clothes flood the gate. And in Sichuan, families line up outside right next to coffins, waiting to cremate their loved ones. China has only officially reported a few dozen COVID-19 deaths since reopening. But satellite images confirm the different reality we see on the ground. These images, taken in late December and early January, show crowds and long lines of cars waiting outside of funeral homes in 6 Chinese cities. The images from the outskirts of Beijing show that a brand new parking lot was even constructed. We visited that funeral home. Rows of cars were already there. I'm now standing in that new parking lot of this Beijing funeral home. This entire parking lot area did not exist a month ago, and as you can see, the roads are not paved. One van pulls in, unloads a body, and another follows. A man tells me he waited hours for his brother's body to be cremated, but the wait is nothing, he says, compared to the crowds from a few weeks ago. Experts say Beijing's COVID outbreak has already peaked. In December, we filmed these body bags piling up in metal crates at another Beijing crematorium during the height of Omicron's spread in the city. This video CNN has obtained was filmed by a man who said his father's body was lying in this overflowing Beijing hospital morgue for days. He said his father waited hours for hospital bed space. By the time a bed opened up, it was too late. Cities are now scrambling to set up fever clinics and increase ICU capacity. For weeks, it was nearly impossible to buy cold or fever medicine. They were all sold out because of the huge demand. Drug companies like this major pharmaceutical manufacturer in Beijing, they are going into overdrive to increase supply after there was a shortage of medicine to treat COVID-19 symptoms. I asked the vice president if they had received any advance warning from the government that they were going to abandon zero COVID so they could prepare to ramp up production. Well, he didn't directly answer my question, but it's clear that now they are doubling down. The company told us they simply follow government policy. The drug shortage overflowing hospitals and crematoriums, they're images of a country unprepared for the sudden end of zero COVID. So many families in mourning are questioning what their 3 years of sacrifice during zero COVID was really all for.
Barbados, through the Center for Biosecurity Studies at the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill, is part of a study looking at innovative ways rather than the use of chemicals to get rid of insects. Director Dr. Kurt Douglas shed some light into the project, revealing it involves the use of renewable energy.
To kill flying insects rather than insecticide. So this would move away from the use of these chemicals and to use a more intelligent strategy to kill these mosquitoes.
All charities in Jamaica engaging with children's homes in that country will come under greater scrutiny. More in this TVJ report.
Information Minister Robert Morgan outlined that there are over 49 children's homes in Jamaica, and the majority of them are privately owned. But the government will now have to deeply assess each charity looking to operate children's homes in the island to prevent a repeat of what happened in the OCA report.
Contribute to the home. There are many persons from overseas, persons in the diaspora, local persons, corporate companies who consistently try to help the homes to survive. So it's not a case where we can say we will accept no outside help. What needs to happen, and what we have been trying to do, Minister Favor Williams, when I was there, is to, after the Robansky matter came to the fore in 2021, is to make the vetting for charities who engage with homes more robust.
And thousands of healthcare workers in the United Kingdom went on strike to demand higher pay this week. Paramedics walked out after failed negotiations with the government. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says he is committed to the public healthcare system.
In the cold of winter, solidarity among striking staff. More than 20,000 ambulance workers are taking industrial action in England and Wales in a dispute officially about pay, but really so much more than just that.
The frustrations are the long handovers at the hospitals, which are delaying our ability to turn out and deliver care to our patients. The pressure that's putting upon our staff. We all join to look after folk, and we're not. We're waiting to look after folk. We're losing valuable staff because of the pressures they're feeling. We can't deliver the care that we want to deliver as paramedics.
There are concerns about public safety during this walkout, with fewer emergency crews available. People are being told to only call for an ambulance if it is life-threatening or a very serious situation.
Unlike the Royal College of Nursing, who agreed a national minimum service level, the ambulance unions have refused to do that, insisted on local arrangements. Obviously, that makes contingency planning much more difficult in terms of safeguarding patient safety.
The ambulance service here in Yorkshire is still providing some cover, and we saw people on the picket line rushing off to respond to emergencies. This crisis comes after talks between the government and unions broke down earlier this week. But staff say it reflects a deeper crisis within Britain's NHS. And this has fast become Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's winter of discontent, with nurses and other public sector workers also walking out.
But the truth is, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to come from an NHS family, and that's why I'm passionately committed to protecting it with more funding, more doctors and nurses, and a clear plan to cut the waiting list.
In Guyana now, many private security firms that are licensed to have employees carry firearms are bypassing the standard operating procedures. As a result, training of people intended to be armed guards is not facilitated. This is a worry for the former Minister of Public Security, Kemraj Ramjatan.
Former Minister of Public Security Kemraj Ramjatan is asserting that the greed of many proprietors operating security firms to obtain security license allow persons who are not fit and proper candidates to be armed guards. He also lamented that the owners of security firms opt to not properly train the guards to cut costs, a practice he describes as dangerous. Ramjatan's comment comes against the backdrop of an incident that occurred on December 17, 2022, in which 6 firearms and a quantity of ammunition were stolen from Radar Security Service.
But what we're seeing is, leaving it in unsafe locations. They're being stolen by even security guards that working with them, all manner of things.
According to the former minister, many security guards are underpaid and do not pay NIS. He is adamant that if an individual is to qualify for the position of a security guard, they must be well trained and alert, with the ability to withstand the rigors that comes with the post.
But the other thing is supervision of these fellas. If you got a video camera there watching this fellow when he texting and talking and he gun hardly in the hand and anybody could come and snatch it off, that fella should not be an armed guard.
According to Ramjatan, Guyana is a lax society that continues to see major players in security firms focused on making a profit rather than securing the community.
We got an allegation that this security person may very well be hiring out his firearms, $200,000 a day, to a certain businessman.
The increase in incidents involving private security firms prompted a meeting with the police officials in August 2022.
World Bank is revealing the global economy is on a razor's edge and risks falling into recession this year, and has been focusing on small states and how they fare from crises. Director of the bank's Prospects Group says the events of the past 3 years created what they call the perfect storm for small economies.
In the sense that during the pandemic, tourism collapsed. Primarily because of that, these economies contracted by about 11% in 2020. And this is, 7 times more than what happened in a typical emerging market developing economy. It is very important to talk about the bigger challenge of climate change in the context of small states. These small states are very vulnerable to climate-related shocks, especially in the context of natural disasters.
Well, coming up this morning on Morning Barbados, when you join me at 6:30, it's Drug Awareness Month, and coming up next week, they're having a panel discussion on medicinal cannabis. What is it? When is it? Where is it? All of those things we'll share with you when you join me at 6:30. Also today, the author of the book, Rhythm of the Body, joins us as we delve into that book, turn the pages to find out the reason for the rhythm. Coming up also today, the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union is hosting its annual general meeting. The membership is invited. We'll tell you how. Those and a whole lot more straight ahead when you join me for Morning Barbados starting at 6:30. We'll take a break right here. We're coming back with more on the Morning Report in just a moment.
The CBC That Made Us, featuring programming from yesteryear, which impacted the lives of many Barbadians. Join me, Sean Green, taking you back to some of your favorite shows from the late 70s, 80s, and 90s during the series The CBC That Made Us, every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. and repeated on Fridays, 11:30 a.m. The CBC That Made Us.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us
in the area. Member of Parliament for Christchurch South, Ralph Thorne, gave the assurance. Sharika Griffith reports.
Government has repeatedly voiced its plans to relocate the post office, police station and other departments in the Oistins civil administration complex to the other side of the street to make way for tourism development on the beachfront property. While he's not sure whether this will be in the form of a hotel or some other business, Member of Parliament for that area, Ralph Thorne, revealed there's been interest in the site.
I understand that bids were made by interest in relation to that development. And I can say to you, Ms. Rockyaw, that nothing has been concluded.
Mr. Thorne has given vendors in the nearby Oistins Bay Gardens the assurance that whatever form the development takes, they will not be moved.
There has not been and never will there be any plan to relocate these persons along with tourism development that may take place to the east. Give them a clap for that. There must continue to be that harmonious relationship. There must continue to be that marriage between big business and this place and small business and the market.
He was speaking during a press briefing to announce plans for a week of activities at the Bay Gardens starting January 21st. Vendor Suzette Gerald Bispham says business of late has been booming.
We have suffered 2 years of COVID, but I can say right now, it really picked up tourists and also our locals. Last Friday night, you could not even pass Oistins. It was so full.
But she believes it could be better, at least in the daytime.
I think we can do a lot more with that beach being developed. Right now, all the tourists in the daytime is going to Rocky Beach, to Aqua Beach, to Mornin Beach, to Boatyard, down to Bashiba. In the day, Oistins is silent. Well, you cannot do us anything on Friday nights. But we would like a little more income during the week, and I foresee that beach can help us.
The Oistins Bay Gardens celebrates its 27th anniversary this year. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
LGBTI survey launched in Barbados by the United Nations Development Programme to inform inclusive policies will be completed by month end. Wendy Burke spoke with the Deputy Resident Representative about the survey and the reason for it.
The survey is scheduled to finish at the end of January and is being done in collaboration with the University of the West Indies. Ugo Blanco, the Deputy Resident Representative of the United Nations Development Programme, told CBC News that the survey is a component of being LGBTI in the Caribbean, BLIC project, which includes Barbados and other Caribbean countries.
For UNDP, it's a pleasure to be working with this project that is aiming at understanding the conditions, the situation of the LGBTI community in Barbados and in the Caribbean. This is a part of a regional project with other countries, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and Barbados. So it's very good that Barbados is part of this initiative, which is trying to basically understand, have data on the communities that may suffer from discrimination, stigma, and violence for their sexual orientation. Data is power. If we don't know, it's very difficult to take decisions, to take evidence-based decisions. So this project, BLIC, is aiming at gathering this data, understanding this data, analyzing the data, working with the civil society organizations to strengthen their capacity, helping the communities to understand better, awareness raising, and contributing to policy.
Barbados has its newest indoor table tennis facility, as we hear in this report.
Located at the Haggett Hall Resource Center, this facility is a combination of Caribbean Unity Sports, headed by former national champion Kevin Farley, and Combined Faith Ministries. On hand during the launch was Vice President of the Barbados Olympic Association, Kemi Burke, who highlighted the benefits of having such a facility.
The facility, I must say, will be a significant milestone in the continuous development of the sport of table tennis. And at the same time, we have a lot of youngsters around, so at the same time, it will contribute to the better quality of life for its members and other participants in the community. The current setting here seems is a community center and a resource center, so the current setting seems well equipped with other sporting and educational facilities. Therefore, the opening of this new branch, table tennis, hopefully will offer a diverse educational and sporting experience to the membership to unleash their potential.
That report from Sean Green. Let's take a look at forecast conditions through your window as you prepare to head out today. What's in the forecast for Barbados and the rest of the region today? Let's take a look. At the moment, 24.4 degrees Celsius under partly cloudy conditions Barbados is. The winds are coming from the east at 20 kilometers an hour. Expect a low tide at 8 minutes to 2 this afternoon. We'll have a high tide in just a little while at 9 minutes after 7 and next at 5 minutes to 8 tonight. Seas today are predicted to be moderate in open water, swells ranging from 1.5 to 2 meters and steady. So today, Barbados should have a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few brief scattered light showers. As today, what's in the forecast for tonight? Cloudy, with clear periods with the occasional brief scattered light to moderate shower. And a look now at some forecast conditions for some international cities. And that's it for today's edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Pearson Bowen. Morning Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
The same thing to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning to you indeed, and welcome to today, Friday the 30th of January, 2023. My name is Pearson Bowen, and thank you so much for joining us here on your TV set, also on our streams on YouTube and Facebook. Always wonderful having you company. Today, we'll meet a man from Guyana who tells the story of his times, the story of his place of birth, but he'll strum his way through life, and he'll strum his way on our show this morning too. So look out to meet him, and he's telling us a lot more about what he's been able to do thus far. We'll also take a look at what's been happening as the University of the West Indies at KFL starts its anniversary celebrations, a whole long year, 60th anniversary as a matter of fact, rooted within our community. We'll talk to them a little bit about what one can expect and how that activity is going to kick off very, very soon. The Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited is hosting its annual general meeting this weekend. How can you be a part of it if you're a member of the union? We will share with you. The author of the book, Rhythm of Poetry, Rhythm of the Body, joins us this morning. He will talk to us why he wrote the book, and we can't wait to hear more about that. Want to get started this morning, though, as it is naturally Drug Awareness Month, January, with the theme Our Workplace, Our Future, Our Workplace, and we're looking today at medicinal cannabis. Joining us to talk about that is Troy Wickham, who is the Deputy Manager of the National Council on Substance Abuse. With him is Jennifer Batiste, a Substance Abuse Prevention Officer. Good morning, both of you. There we are. Good morning, Troy. I'll start with you. Let's talk a little bit. How has it been going so far? I saw the church service kicked off, and you've been doing a whole host of other activities. What's been going on?
I can say that Drug Awareness Month has started beautifully. I must thank the members of the Church of the Nazarene, Kalmarok. We had a wonderful service, so I must thank Pastor Holder and his congregation, as well as all the persons who turned out to support the NCSA for our church service. We also conducted interventions with private and public organizations thus far. We will be having next week, as in on the 18th, Wednesday the 18th, we'll be having our panel discussion to discuss the differences between medicinal and recreational cannabis. Going forward, we will have a food drive as well. We will also be conducting a intervention with Barbados Small Business Association, as well as we'll be meeting our stakeholders to discuss future plans for the early warning system.
Right. Your agency is tasked with helping us manage how we deal with our substances. Medicinal cannabis is a part of it. It's pretty much a part of everyday life for a lot of people now, particularly since the industry is being regulated, but there are people who are still abusing it in the workplace in particular. And Jennifer, talk to me a little bit about what you know about how behavior has changed, how people are abusing these drugs, and how it's filtering into our workplace.
Okay, thank you for having us here on Morning Barbados again. So, anecdotal evidence is suggesting that persons are using more cannabis, and that is based on our research as it relates to burden. Also, anecdotal evidence suggests that there is a perception that marijuana is not harmful, and even when we do our interventions, we're hearing people saying that, medicinal cannabis and recreational cannabis is the same. And we thought it was necessary to have this panel discussion to educate persons that there is a difference between recreational use of cannabis as well as medicinal use of cannabis, and especially in the workforce, because a large set of our population are in the workforce, and we want to educate employers as well as employees as what the harms and the impact of using cannabis can have within the workplace.
So what are some of the signs that an employer would see to indicate that this individual with whom they work is struggling with the abuse of medicinal cannabis or cannabis?
Well, there are no set symptoms that a person may encounter, and you don't want to say that because some person is, having long absences of work or not being productive, that right away that person may be abusing a particular substance. And what that person should do, or what that employer can do, is have a conversation with that employee. Once that employee is willing to have that conversation, and then start the process from there, because it very well may be something else going on. You don't just want to jump and say, yes, that person is abusing a particular substance.
And so, Troy, from where you sit, I could well imagine that part of your remit is to also be able to work with employers to find a way to regularize the workplace as well, to be able to put policy in place so that as they manage individuals with these concerns, that they're able to do so with care and concern, and also to be able to deal with it generally.
You're so correct, Pearson. I was doing a little backtracking. Can say that our Barbados Information Network, which is BARDIN, which take a holistic view of the drug situation locally, speaks to persons under the age of 40 being negatively impacted by substance use and abuse. Mainly, and the main substances were alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, which is powdered cocaine, and crack cocaine. We saw it fit at the National Council on Substance Abuse to target the workforce. Persons under 40 make a large portion of the workforce. Therefore, we saw it fit to take our drug education into the workforce. We also saw it fit that we can assist employers with upgrading or developing what we call drug policies. It's important that because research have shown persons who use or abuse substances in the workforce are prone to low productivity, memory loss, lots of absenteeism, and it can all impact productivity, and at the end of the line, the bottom line, which is the dollar. It's important that we take that message out there. We are prepared to go into the workplaces, do conduct what we call rapid assessments, so we can inform drug education, and that is, we will have an evidence-based approach to our drug education, and the intervention will be very specific to the needs of the particular organizations. So therefore, we see fit that we can go in there, educate the public, educate the workforce, educate the employers, and make them make wise choices. We are prepared to give the facts, let the community make the choice.
And as you do that, are you getting the support of employers who say, yeah, welcome onto my premises? Or are you getting them saying, I'm not so sure I necessarily want to hear from you guys? What kind of responses are you getting?
I can say that the response has been overwhelming. I'm pleased that persons have been reaching out to the NCSA since we have a team, our workplace, our future workplace. We have been receiving several calls. So I must thank the persons for actually looking out for their employees. I'm having a team where I can say that we are looking at what we call a recovery-friendly workplace. We will encourage employers to assist persons who have been negatively impacted by substance use and abuse. Embrace them. We are looking at a holistic approach. It will include the community as well. Family is important to reintegrate those persons, make them productive citizens again, make them feel that you, the employer, is a part of the journey. It's a lifelong journey. I must say substance addiction, is a disease. It's an issue, a public health issue, and I want persons to understand that. Addiction is a public health issue. And it will affect everyone.
And so, Jennifer, part of it is your interaction with the public in the community to stem it at that particular point. How has it been reaching out to boys on the block, to people on the bus, wherever they are, so that you are able to affect change in the behavior and an understanding of what abuse of these substances can do to the body and can do to relationships?
Yes, it has been a challenge, but we are committed to the fight. It calls for lots of education. It calls for behavior change. We may not see that right away, but in the long run, we will see it, because it takes. It's about re-educating yourself. It's about changing certain types of behaviors. It may even involve stepping away from certain friends, family members that you're accustomed hanging around with, in order to beat the drug addiction. So it is a tough process, but we at the NCSA are committed to the fight. We have a small number of staff members. We are very resourceful, but we are really able to step up to the fight to educate persons about the dangers of using substances. And that's why this panel discussion is important to us as well.
Right. Talk to me a little bit more about that, and so that folks know when the panel discussion is, who's on the panel, and the just general style and format of the panel discussion.
Okay, great. Thanks, Pearson. The panel discussion will be held at the NUPW headquarters, Horatio Cook Auditorium, and this is slated for January the 18th, that's next week, Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And we have invited our stakeholders, so it will be a blended approach. We'll have streaming from different locations. So we have a panel of experts in the field. We have experts from internationally, regionally, and local organizations. We will have Rachel Huggins, who is the Executive Lead Cannabis Legislation in Canada. We also have Dr. John Seville Cummings, and he represents the St. Vincent Medicinal Cannabis Licensing Authority. We have our very own Senator Robert Spodel, and she's the Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Medicinal Cannabis Licensing Authority. We also have representation from Dr. Ronald Chase. He is the Senior Registrar at the Psychiatric Hospital. And we also have our Lindsay Bindle, who is the Drug Inspector at the Barbados Drug Service here in Barbados. So that is a list of our panelists. I don't think I forgot anyone. Troy, you can...
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. It's important to add that this particular intervention will be streamed live on YouTube. It'll be on our Facebook page as well. We are inviting the public to tune in. Feel free to ask questions to the panelists. They are very experienced. I can say that Ms. Huggins is responsible for actually setting up the whole recreation and medicinal cannabis in Ontario, Canada. Dr. Seville, he's the head of the St. Vincent and Grenadines Medicinal Cannabis Licensing Authority. And I can say St. Vincent is very advanced. They are actually prescribing medicinal cannabis, creating medicinal cannabis products. And he will talk about the transition they're having, the transitions they're seeing in St. Vincent as relates to medicinal cannabis. And we can say that locally, we have our Barbados Drug Service, who's basically the regulators for medications, prescriptions, pharmaceutical, police, basically locally. And we have our registrar from the psychiatric hospital. So we have a good mix. So I'm inviting the public to come, participate, join us on YouTube and on Facebook.
Indeed. To come, you go to the NUPW's headquarters on Dalkeith Road. That's where you can go in person, and you can also present yourself on the social media platform YouTube and Facebook of the National Council on Substance Abuse. It's next week, the 18th of January. It begins at 10 o'clock in the morning. 10 o'clock in the morning. It wouldn't last you too long, but ignorance is no longer bliss. So get to know the difference about medicinal cannabis and general cannabis, get to know the signs, the symptoms, get to understand what it means and how it affects you in the workplace, how it affects you in your home, which is also your workplace. So it is important that as many of us as possible join in this panel discussion on Wednesday, the 18th of January, to be a part of it. It begins at 10 o'clock in the morning, all part of Drug Awareness Month. And now be empowered so that you're able to spot the signs, see the signs, you're able to intervene when a loved one presents themselves struggling with the use or abuse of any of those drugs, whether they're legal or not. And so you want to be able to know for sure how to intervene and how to recognize it and spot it in the workplace and at home as well. Thank you so much, Troy Wickham, who is the Deputy Manager of the National Council on Substance Abuse and one of their abuse prevention officers in Jennifer Batiste. Wish you all the best with the upcoming panel discussion and debate that's really going to be happening around medicinal cannabis. And I hope many people join you on that journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pearson. And please remember that the NCSA is committed to giving persons the facts, letting you make the choice.
I like that.
I'm committed to that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Yesterday afternoon, I think it took all of us, it took our breath away when we got the news that our beloved Carolyn Leacock has passed away. And we always remember her smile, we remember her voice, we remember her creativity, we remember her charm, we remember her warmth, we remember her. And so there she is on our screen. Let us not ever forget that smile. Let us never forget the talent and the joy that she's brought to many of us. And as we go to break, take a look at Carolyn doing Carolyn the best she knows.
I don't want to sing alone. I need somebody to sing along with me. I won't let you sing alone, 'cause with you is where I really want to be. I have a love song I really want to share. If you are ready, come on over here. Come put your harmony with my melody, make it so much sweeter. You're the missing melody to my puzzle harmony. The two belong together. Can't you see? Can't you see? Can't you see that your melody and your harmony, they go hand in hand in musical matrimony. Yes, I've struck some bad notes in my time.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Max Pack Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade or come in and sign up for our new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados.
Well, our next guest says, buckle up, get ready for the literary ride. It's just the beginning. His name is Marcus Davis. He's an author of the book Rhythm of the Body. Interesting. There he is. He's from Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to you, Marcus.
Morning, Barbados. Morning, Pearson. Nice to be here. Really nice to be here.
Thank you so very much indeed for joining us. The Rhythm of the Body. This is a collection of your work. Talk to me a little bit about the book and why you called it The Rhythm of the Body.
All right, to begin with, I've been writing poetry since the age of 7. I did my B.Ed, specializing in language and literature. Rhythm of the Body. To put it simple, I believe that we as Caribbean people always moving. The way we speak, from language, goes straight back to our culture. Everything is always moving to the rhythm. And we call our collection of poetry, sometimes we say we call it a body of poetry. So I kind of put the two together as the rhythm of the body. You normally look at our islands like a body of islands surrounded by a body of ocean. And the word body is always there together with our constant movement, which is the rhythm.
And the body goes through different phases and different seasons of time, and it changes as it grows and goes. So you've taken your series of poems that you've written into this book, Rhythm of the Body, and you've broken it down into certain sections like rhyme and rhythm and rhyme. And within rhythm and rhyme, what are you seeking to tell us through your collection in that section?
I'm seeking to capture the dualities in terms of man and woman, intimacy, passion, love. You're looking at young versus old. You're looking at the dualities that follow us throughout life, and I just try to capture it with rhythm and rhyme, because we know it in poetry, rhythm and rhyme goes beautifully together.
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah.
And you're right, you know, the way we speak, the way we talk, the way we walk, everything about the way we exist in the Caribbean, and even to the point where in the way we have relationships, that it has a rhythm, there the ebbs and the flows of how that emotion sweeps over that too. And so you're able to write a series of poems that capture that. How many poems are in the book, Rhythm of the Body?
All right, so the collection is pretty small because I tend to focus on quality per se rather than quantity. Yes. So in this case, is some people might see it as 27 poems because I have this one poem that I call Triku, but it can be seen as 3 separate poems. So you could view it as either 27 poems or you could view it as 25 poems, 24 poems, depending on how you view certain aspects of the book. Because certain poems go well together like as one, or some people could view them as 2 separate poems. But you could say there are like 27 poems in the collection.
About 27 or so, but that's enough. That's a lot. That's enough, just enough. If you look at the whole process of life, it starts with the man and the woman, and then there's a coming of age, so to speak, because within your next section within the book talks about the coming of age. And in that section, what kinds of poems do we find?
You find poems that, and I don't intend to be disrespectful or throw any shade on anybody, but you have the young man becoming, the young boy, I should say, becoming a man. And this is not a boy that is sheltered by parents or family members or just, you know, that they've been growing up well protected. This is a young man who is going out there into the world and becoming a man. And there's plenty to do with my experiences, plenty of experiences from young men in the Caribbean, young men in Trinidad and Tobago who I spoke with, who I interact with on a daily, and their struggles, their passions, their ambitions, all these things come into light. And this is why it is coming of age is like maybe the most highlighted category in the collection, because it received most plaudits, because it is basically where it is you find more substance, more of my personal substance being spilled out into the poetry. Yeah.
I'm glad you went there, because that's where I wanted to go too. How much of what we read is really about you?
And that is why, coming of age, exactly. You'll find certain points, and those people who would know me personally here in Trinidad, they would know that the kind of work that I like to write, they know my influences. And I tend to always, not because I'm male, I will only bring this one or this certain perspective, but I love to show my perspective together with everything that I'm going through and everything that surrounds me. And that's why coming of age is really, really important. It's maybe the most important category for me, I would say, in terms of the book itself.
Right. Is there any one particular poem, even within this particular category, that you think you are connected most to? Or are you just connected to all in the same way?
This is a question that's been popped up because since the launch of the book in November, I sold over 150 copies of the book, and everyone always asks what would be your favorite poem, what poem you most connected to. And I tend to treat my poems like how people would treat children. I love everybody equally. I keep it like that. But I would say that the poem Tree stands out to me. It is well, I connect mostly because it kind of leaves this lingering feeling of nostalgia together with that love I had for my father, that love I have for my dad, I should say, and wanting to be like him, but wanting to also better myself as a man, better his what the things that he did. And you know, we always aim for betterment going forward.
Yes.
And I would say Tree, yes, it would be Tree. Tree would obviously be that poem that I would feel most connected to. Not my favorite, but my most that I would feel connected.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the tree, if we use that as the image that we're talking about, the tree sets root, it grows, it spreads, it provides shade, it provides comfort, it provides food, it provides. And so for you, that is what connects most to you for you. And I think for anyone who then gets the rhythm of the body, they can see it right away. I did, just from what you've just explained to me. And then there's the other part of the book, that because as I said, it's broken into almost three ways, if you really look at the collection of poems, that talks about our Caribbean-esque, the way we are, you know, the things we feel, the things that make us us. Talk to me a little bit about why you wanted to capture that part of it.
All right. So I love Caribbean literature. Like I have read books from all over the world, which is during the course of my degree. But Caribbean lit stands out to me. Like I don't think people would understand how much I love Caribbean lit to begin with. So you're looking at poets and writers that influence me. And many things that certain influential people would say. One of the greatest would be Cameron Braffett, your own, you know, Barbados.
Yes.
Cameron Braffett. And he spoke about nation language. And if anybody would recall with nation language, those are the history of our voice. He said that our poetry as Caribbean people cannot fall into this iambic pentameter, this simple rhythm or this meter that we constantly would see in terms of English poetry or foreign poetry. We cannot use that to describe a storm. We cannot use that to describe our feelings or emotions as Caribbean people. So I tend to use that category, Caribbeanness, to expand and explore, you know, not only the nation language, but explore aspects of the Caribbean that we can say, be proud of, and people can read, really say, in terms of foreign nations and understand us better. That's basically it, because we are great at what we do. Our work have a special place in terms of the field of literature, but we need to understand that first and foremost, and that is what I hope this category allows people to do and kind of open up their eyes, raise a little awareness, I should say, of being Caribbean.
That is so exciting because, you know, we're inundated by foreign content, we're inundated by foreign perspectives. And you're saying, nah, man, we have some of our own in the Caribbean that are just as strong or even better when one compares. And so this book called The Rhythm of Poems is of the body is a collection of all of that, written in dialect in some instances and written in standard English in some instances as well, or would one find in every poem a good blend of standard and dialect?
What I aim to do, and I don't know if only the critics can say otherwise, but what I aim to do, even though when I did not use what I call the Trinidadian Creole, because I cannot adhere to what people like Braffett said, that he said that using the term dialect kind of gives a kind of weird, you know, a negative connotation to the whole aspect of our language. He said it is more than that. You know, our language is more than that. So I tend to use the term Trinidadian Creole. So yes, some poems are written in Trinidadian Creole, and some poems are written in standard English. But then the poems that are written in standard English follows the rhythm of how we speak as in terms of Trinidadian Creole. So you might be reading a poem that, yes, it might be in standard English, but you're still having that rhythm and that flow of how we speak as Caribbean people. Yeah.
Nice. Rhythm of the Body, it's called. It's written by Marcus Davis. That's him on your screen. He's a Trinidadian. Where can people get copies of it so that they familiarize themselves now with your series of collections of poems?
All right. So locally, I have been keeping it, I should say, tight-knit. I haven't had it in bookstores and kind of like, you know, having it run amok, because I kind of see it as a book that I want to value. This is my debut collection. I want people to value just as me. I want to have a personality before I hit bookstores. So you can contact me. You can contact me via MD Literary Works on Facebook or Instagram. Those of you in Trinidad who have not gotten a copy yet, and those of you who are outside of Trinidad and Tobago, it is on Kindle, Amazon Kindle. You can get it there. I kept it. I didn't do the paperback. Reason being, I want Caribbean people to enjoy this book. I don't want to put it in paperback and then have Amazon how to say it, like I really peculiar about that. I don't want Amazon have it on
Yes.
paperback, and then people say if somebody comes to me with the option of having it distributed to the Caribbean, a Caribbean man of course, a Caribbean woman of course, I open to that. But I do not want at the moment I do not want it on paperback. Amazon have. I want it to stay in the Caribbean for a little while.
I like that you're so determined, you're very clear on what you want and where you want to go and what your work represents and all of that. Rhythm of the Body, this collection is called. It's a book compiled by Marcus Davis of Trinidad and Tobago. It's available on Amazon. For those of you anywhere in the world watching right now, you're saying, you know, I want to see what he's written, I want to engage with his poetry. You can do so by going to Amazon and getting it for yourself. Buy it, download it. It's on that format, so you know right away that you can take it anywhere at any time and you can enjoy the writings and the work of Marcus Davis. Marcus, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I encourage you to continue writing in our native tongue and continue to tell the story of who we are as a people of the Caribbean, because we exist. And we exist for a purpose, and we are just as powerful as anyone from anywhere else on this earth. Thank you so much.
Very true. You too, person. Take care.
You're very welcome. Morning Barbados takes a break right here. We're coming back with the news in just a moment.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 2.5 minutes after 7. The Technical and Vocational Education and Training Council is looking to build out technical studies in the areas of cybersecurity and animation. Executive Director of the TVET Council, Henderson Eastman, says these areas will benefit the island, as training people in them will create global citizens. He told CBC News these new initiatives are to begin this year.
We have standards, and we see level 3 standards in cybersecurity, animation, network administration, social media management, e-commerce, robotics, PV systems, and we are having something on game design. Now, in terms of animation, we have an associate and a technical degree developed, and also only today I got the game design associate and technical degree that we wish to implement. But we are looking to implement a lot of these standards because these are the lower hanging fruit, the animation, the cybersecurity, and the game design. People can sit at their computer and work and earn money from trillion-dollar industries overseas, and that money will come down to the economy.
Mr. Eastman says while they want to target these areas, they realize there is a shortage of individuals to deliver, and the council will become a hub and digitize those programs for delivery so that self-study is possible.
We spend the money up front, digitize the curricula and the assessment where possible, put it on an LMS, learning management system, so that institutions can access. Because one of the problems is finding people and getting additional teachers. And the council is willing to embark on the project to digitize the curricula so that institutions can access it, and then we can support the institutions by supporting them with facilitators. So the content will be there that the institutions can access and deliver this new and up-to-date material to their students.
Well, costs will be incurred in the digitization process, and as such, the Council wants to work with the institutions and the private sector to facilitate the training.
If we can find some person in the private sector, we'll see if we can get a person from the private sector. But if we can't find a person from the private sector that can work with us, we are in a position, because the IT areas are easy, because you can get a facilitator to work online from any place in the world. So we're looking for partners. We now have an embassy in Ghana, and we have an embassy in Kenya. And we have been in contact with universities in Ghana and Kenya through the Commonwealth of Learning. So finding resource personnel will not be a difficult job. Of course, it will be an increase in payment, but it will not be. The thing is that in order to deliver a program at community college or deliver a program at SJPI, you got new staffing. So you wouldn't really need a person on staff. And how staff are developed at these institutions, you have to apply to the Ministry of Public Service, and that's an increased budget for the government.
Vendors at the Oistins Bay Garden have been assured they will not have to relocate, even as government moves ahead with plans to develop tourism in the area. Minister of Parliament for Christchurch South, Ralph Thorne, gave the assurance, and Sharika Griffith reports.
Government has repeatedly voiced its plans to relocate the post office, police station and other departments in the Oistins civil administration complex to the other side of the street to make way for tourism development on the beachfront property. While he's not sure whether this will be in the form of a hotel or some other business, Member of Parliament for that area, Ralph Thorne, revealed there's been interest in the site.
I understand that bids were made by interest in relation to that development. And I can say to you, Ms. Rockhill, that nothing has been concluded.
Mr. Thorne has given vendors in the nearby Oistins Bay Gardens the assurance that whatever form the development takes, they will not be moved.
There has not been and never will there be any plan to relocate these persons along with tourism development that may take place to the east. Give them a clap for that. There must continue to be that harmonious relationship. There must continue to be that marriage between big business and this place, and small business and the market.
He was speaking during a press briefing to announce plans for a week of activities at the Bay Gardens starting January 21st. Vendor Suzette Gerald Bispham says business of late has been booming.
We have suffered 2 years of COVID, but I can say right now, it really picked up tourists and also our locals. Last Friday night, you could not even pass Oistins. It was so full.
But she believes it could be better, at least in the daytime.
I think we can do a lot more if that beach being developed. Right now, all the tourists in the daytime is going to Rocky Beach, to Aqua Beach, to Whirling Beach, to Boat Yard, down to Bashiba. In the day, Oistins is silent. Well, you know, you cannot do us anything on Friday night. But we would like a little more income during the week, and I foresee that that beach can help us.
The Oistins Bay Gardens celebrates its 27th anniversary this year. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Sharika, thank you. That's it for our news at the moment. We'll have more news coming up at 12 noon here on TVET. We're coming back with Morning Barbados in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
The CBC That Made Us, featuring programming from yesteryear, which impacted the lives of many Barbadians. Join me, Sean Green, taking you back to some of your favorite shows from the late 70s, 80s, and 90s during the series The CBC That Made Us, every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. and repeated on Fridays, 11:30 a.m. The CBC That Made Us.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
11 minutes now after the hour of 7 o'clock. As we continue, we take a look now at one of those institutions on the island that has been in the news quite a bit of late. They're having their annual general meeting and a very special general meeting as well tomorrow, Saturday. Joining us as we look at the upcoming meetings for the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited to talk more about the plan ahead of it is Stacey Motley, who is the lead coordinator of the activity. Stacey, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I know in previous years you would have had the meetings, yes, and I know that, because of COVID, you did hybrids. You did some online and you did some in person. Is that the way you're conducting the annual general meeting and special meeting this weekend?
Yes, and it certainly is. We will be having a hybrid meeting on Saturday, January 14th, and members will have the privilege of participating both in person and online.
Meeting will be there. What's on the agenda of the meeting so that members watching today know why it is important for them to be a part of the meeting?
Okay, so we had our initial meeting on December 3rd, 2022. And the agenda was pretty much the standard reporting agenda to the membership. However, what would have occurred is that we would not have been able to complete the agenda at that time. And so this meeting on Saturday that starts at 9 a.m. will be a continuation of the meeting agenda from December 3rd. Additionally, the meeting in the afternoon will address specifically some matters as it relates to our financials, particularly the financials for our subsidiary Capital Financial.
I suspect it's going to be a very well attended meeting indeed. Where is the meeting going to be so that those who want to attend in person can do so?
So those who wish to attend in person can do so at the Frank Collymore Hall. But before I even proceed from here, I must say that registration is required, and the persons who were attending the meeting on December 3rd, 2022 will be allowed to re-register using the same credentials pretty much for the meeting on December 3rd. So there's no need for them to re-register. Really, it is the opportunity for them to kind of reconvene the meeting using the same credentials from previously before.
Right. So again, if you were registered for the meeting in December, you are already permitted to come to this one tomorrow. Is there space still left for anyone else who wants to come in person? And if so, how can they register?
So registration, there is a link on our website. It's www.publicworkers.bb/AGM. Should take you directly to the registration page and access the link from there. Registration is required and very much encouraged in advance before tomorrow if persons have not yet registered. And what's important to note as well is if you would have attended, if you would have participated as an online participant for the previous meeting, you are required to attend in the same manner this time around as well. If you were in person, you are welcome to join us again tomorrow in person as well. Now, yes, new persons can attend the meeting, and the registration link, like I said, is accessible via our website. You are asked to proceed to register using the link. Provide your registration details. Registration details will include having your account number on hand, your national registration number on hand, as well as your, I'm missing something, oh yes, very key information, your email address must be available, because once you've registered online, email is pretty much the way we will communicate. We will confirm your membership and so on. Not your membership, your registration, sorry, that's how we will be able to communicate with you with regard to that registration. When you go online to register, you will see the option to either register for in-person or online attendance, either in-person or online attendance. And our registration team internally will be reviewing those requests, and as the capacity at the venue permits, we will be accepting persons for in-person attendance.
Right, so it's a very important meeting, and it's for members of the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited. It's for members, so ordinary Joe, it's not for you, it's just for the membership to continue their annual general meeting, and then you have that very special meeting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And again, so if you want to be at the meeting, we have to register, whether it's in person or coming online, you have to register and receive then your link that takes you into the meeting. Am I reading you correctly?
Yes, we need you to register as far as possible, because what it allows us to do is a registration. Just let me take a minute to speak about registration and why it's important. Registration is important because it allows us really to have, as required by our regulators, an accurate record, of the members who attend our meetings. So that process alone, the registration online, and it really gives us the accurate record of the meeting's proceedings. And that's why it's important, apart from allowing us to just plan effectively for the delivery of the meeting on the day. So, and registration has always been a part of the process. What has changed, though, is the method of registration, and that's primarily because with the onset of the pandemic, as you mentioned, we have now moved to an online, facilitating more online participation. And so one of the reasons why there's a slight, there's a change in the registration process, but still, yes, indeed, registration has always been required, and we are encouraging persons to register as much as possible.
As it would happen, sometimes some people are not that technologically savvy, so they'll need some help. Would you be able to provide some help for those who are going to be logging in today, particularly today, to do their registration, or even early tomorrow morning to seek to register?
Yes, we do have, for today, those persons who seek to register and may have some challenges, we do have our hotline number, and we also have an email address. The email address is agmqueries@bpwccul.bb, bpwccul.bb, and our hotline number, just let me refresh my memory, is 232-3290 or 3291. Those are our hotline numbers. Those hotline numbers are available throughout the course of the day. And we are actually very mindful of our elderly members as well, those who may have some challenges. So we are going to go as far as we possibly can to ensure that all members can participate in this meeting. That is not our intention by any means to exclude anyone. And so those elderly members, they can feel free to contact us via those hotline numbers, as well as by visiting the credit union if they need to come in and just see us today, and we can assist where possible.
The information, folks, is on your screen at the moment. The telephone number, should you need the assistance, is 232-3290 or 232-3291. Those are the numbers to call. The email address is also right there before your screens. So if I register and I choose to turn up in person as well, I register to do it online, I choose to turn up in person, does it matter?
It matters only as far as the capacity at the venue can accommodate. Other than that, if you come by and we can accommodate you at the venue, and you are a member of our credit union, you are welcome to attend. Other than that, we will need you to join us online.
So the meeting is tomorrow, Saturday, the 14th of January. The annual general meeting starts at 9 in the morning. The special meeting is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're encouraging over the 100,000 members of the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union to log in and register today your attendance. If you were registered for the December meeting, your registration is still valid. You do not need to re-register. But for anyone else who wants to be a part of the meeting, whether in person or online, you have to register. And there's some things that you need to know. So go to the website and begin the registration process today and engage with this union, Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union, on the matters that interest you. And so that important meeting is on tomorrow. I want to thank you so much, Stacey, for joining us. Stacey Motley, the lead coordinator of this, and wish you the very much success with tomorrow's very important meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Morning Barbados takes a break right here. When we come back, we're talking celebrations. Celebrations of a very strong regional institution. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our...
We're 22 minutes now after 7 o'clock on today's edition of Morning Barbados. We can't wait to celebrate with the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill their contribution to our development as a region, the contribution to our development as an individual within this particular region and within our particular societies. And as you do already know, so many people have benefited significantly in all disciplines from the work at the University of the West Indies. And now they're marking their 60th anniversary. Can you imagine? Just the other day it was developed, and now 60 years later, here we are still. Joining us as we take a look at the celebrations, and in particular, a very big, important one for which we can all celebrate, is Dr. Carlos, I call you Dr. Really sorry here? Carla Springer. Listen, there is a prophecy in that. I hope you accept it.
Thank you. I do. Good morning.
Good morning, Carla Springer. She's the manager there at the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts, the Arrowbarrow Center for Creative Imagination. Dr. Henderson Carter, that's the DR right there, right?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. You're the chair of the Anniversary Planning Committee. Welcome to Morning Barbados. Let's talk a little bit firstly about the university within the community and the work you've been able to succeed in doing thus far. How would you describe it?
Well, this university at the Cave Hill campus, created 60 years ago, has been a tower of strength in the community, producing graduates in all sectors of the community. And indeed, as we went into independence in 1966, the campus has been able to produce the human resources that we need to build out the society in all aspects, in the government, in the private sector. The campus has been able to do that for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean and beyond. As you know, our law faculty trained our law students who later go on to the within school. You know that our Department of Social Sciences and now we have the new faculty of culture. and creative and performing arts. I mean, we are training people throughout the Caribbean, and of course, we have been able to attract individuals from the United States, Europe, coming for a Caribbean experience and coming to do Caribbean history and coming to do Caribbean culture. So it is not only an institution that has a regional pull, but an international pull. And we're happy, Pearson, to celebrate 60. And indeed, you know, our campus and the CBC has something in common.
Yes.
We came forth just 2 months apart.
Yes.
You in December 15th, we on the 12th of October.
Wow.
So there's going to be, we're going to hear a bit more about that partnership later on.
There's a bit of a twinning. But you know, part of your theme this year is rooted. One of the words is rooted. And when one thinks of being rooted, I don't want to delve into your part, Carla, as being a literary person who's so creative, is that from it has sprung so much on which the Caribbean now thrives. We grow because you continue to water it through education at the KFL campus as well. You've broadened your curriculum so more people can be captured within the enhancement and development of the people of the region. I think that's truly something to celebrate. But staying relevant is also a part of what you're seeking to do. Yes. How are you meeting as a committee, and what are you planning for as a faculty and a whole set of leaders of the industry, really, to remain relevant as times change?
Now, in this 60th year of celebrations, we are giving back to the community. And we have a lot of programs, a number of programs where we give back. Mm-hmm. For example, there will be a reading program at the public library. Every Saturday, students can come in and read with our lecturers and write. And that program will go throughout the year. Mm-hmm. We also expanding it to the schools. There will also be a spelling bee competition, a debate competition, and a speech competition. And of course, CBC will be partnering with us in these aspects. So we're really giving back because we recognize that we need, as a community, as a campus, not only to teach, but to come down in the community. We are rooted in the community.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to be giving back to the community. We're going to be having our lectures, but we're going to be giving back out. And one of the things that we'll be doing as well, in April, we're having a series of CAPE lectures where students are normally struggling with the difficult subjects of CAPE. We will have that series of online lectures in maths and biology and chemistry, you name it. Mm-hmm. And that will be done for all of our students in Barbados and in Eastern Caribbean without any cost. We're giving back in the 60th year.
And we're thankful for the give back. You know, Carla, there were times where you passed the university, you thought, those are for the brainiacs. That's not for me. But with the introduction of cultural studies and so many other areas of the curricula as well, more and more the average Barbadian finds himself a place right there at the University of the West Indies. Talk to me from your perspective as the head of the area that you lead, how important it is to be a part of that experience.
Well, first, let me say, artists are not average. We are brilliant just like everyone else. Mm-hmm. But it's really very important for us to ensure that the ones who are interested in the arts do get that opportunity to learn. Over the years, arts have always been seen as the extracurricular activity, but there are jobs available. There are persons who are doing their first degree, their graduate programs, doing the PhD, as I am doing now.
Yes.
And they are, and we are finding our roles, whether in Barbados or in the region or wherever in the world. Mm-hmm. So giving persons that opportunity, you know, back in the day, your parents said either be a doctor or a lawyer or work in a bank, but now parents and teachers are also pushing the arts as well, because it's important. It's not just, you can learn all types of things in the arts. Choreographies, you have to remember choreographies, you have to remember scripts, and those things help with the other things that you're developing. So for me, the arts are just as important as maths and English and biology. Mm-hmm. You know, so it is awesome to be at the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts and to play a role in the development of the Cave Hill campus. and the University of the West Indies and around the world. So we're very proud to be here.
Yeah, but education is to develop the full person.
Yes.
But education also in cultural studies is also a part of the full person.
Yes, it is.
And so I would want that for those of you watching today, don't turn up your nose at cultural studies. You're kidding me? There is such benefit that derived from that.
It is very, very important. There's so many things you can uncover in cultural studies, and it goes hand in hand with history as well.
Yes.
So, and the arts go hand in hand with all of the other, because we have students who are in medical studies who are doing electives in our faculty, and they go hand in hand, because you can be a doctor and be creative.
Yes.
You know, so there's so many professionals, I would say professionals, doctors, lawyers, who just want to come out of their shell and write a story because it's in them, but they're afraid to bring it out. So that's what our faculty does, you know. We help them to find themselves and find their true selves, rather than sticking behind what mommy or daddy would tell you to do. So, and I'm proud to be in the faculty. I know Dr. Carter wants to join us, but we'll find a place for him soon from now.
You know, it builds confidence. You know, education and knowledge also builds confidence.
Yes, it does.
You'd find that you become a stronger person from what you know, and you know for certain. And now no one can blow you like the wind. You know, you can actually project yourself in such ways.
Once you have that education, there's no one that can take it away
Not
from
a soul.
you. You know,
Not a living creature.
That's why we are excited to celebrate.
Me too.
And to launch our 60th anniversary.
So I know there's something happening next week. Who's going to tell me about it?
Yes. Well, I will start. First of all, we're going to have a press launch on the 19th of January.
Right.
And
that's
then
Thursday.
Yes, that's Thursday. The next day is the really big public event. This is the public launch of, and we're having a parade through the campus.
Nice.
And around the campus, and stopping at the historic sites of the campus. So from 2 p.m., we'll be parading students, staff, alumni, and we're inviting the public. And we're stopping at 3 important sites. Pearson, we will stop at the Leslie Robinson building. That building with the iconic clock tower.
Yes, yes.
And the proscenium, where the floor is made of stones from the English Lake District. And then the backdrop, the stones come from the Eastern Caribbean. We'll be stopping at that building. Then we'll be going on to another site we call the Whispering Wall, where you whisper on one side of the wall and you hear on the other side.
Sweet. I love that.
Near that Whispering Wall, there's a Walk of Fame. And then in the backdrop, there are the 3 W's graves, the graves of Weeks, Worrell, and Walcott.
Yes.
But listen, this is the best.
Yes.
Then we descend down the hill to what we call the Quar Monument, a monument in recognition of this enslaved African who came here to Barbados at the age of 3. Imagine that, with no parents. His parents are there, probably the ladies took care of him on the slave vessel. He came to that site we now call Cave Hill. He was there as an enslaved African at the Cave Hill site. And he lived and he developed himself. And he became the first black sexton in the Anglican Church at St. Stephen's.
Wow.
And he married, he took a name, Quar William Jemmott. He married, he had 4 children, and we celebrate his work because that is a work of achievement.
Yes.
From an enslaved African coming here to Barbados without any parents, and he's moving up to become the first black sexton in the Anglican Church. But it's not only him that we are celebrating. We are also celebrating at that site the 295 enslaved Africans. We know their names. We know their ages.
Wow.
We know, for example, that Orange lived for 75 years. She was 75 years in 1834. And we have all their names there on a plaque. It's a wonderful sight, and I'm inviting the public to come and view this and to celebrate with us. And then we go back to the tent and we will have some music, and Carol will tell us about that later.
Yes.
Music, but those are the historic sites, and there are 3 of them that we're celebrating, but there are more.
Yes.
And during the 60th anniversary year, we'll be having free campus tours, where you can come, you can book a tour, come and our historians will take you around the campus and to see those historic sites. So there's a lot on campus for the public.
I am so enthralled. You see how I'm sitting? Like a child eagerly at daddy's feet, listening to the stories. This is fantastic. And that's why it's so important that everyone comes next week, Friday,
the 20th.
for the 20th.
Yes.
Yeah, the 20th, but next week, Friday. Because we put it in that context, you can remember, next week, Friday.
Yes.
But the 20th is just another day for a lot of people. But next Friday, what time does the parade start?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we will walk the walk. We will enjoy it with the University of the West Indies. You said it's a parade by the students?
No, it's staff and students. But we're also inviting the public to attend.
Right.
So I know 2 o'clock may not work for everyone.
Work for me.
But we're asking you after you pick up the kids, after you leave work, to come because they're still part of it. So the staff and students are going to go from, we're going to assemble in the tent, then we're going to go to Leslie Robinson, past the Golden Stool, which is the Hillary MacDonald Beckles Administrative Complex, up to Law, around Clico and Sagicor building.
I see it.
Down past the Walk of Fame, down the hill around the 3 W's. We make the left turn, we go to Quaz Quest, and then we go around, we go in front of the Guild. The building is the Andrew Lewis complex, and we make another left and we go straight to the tent where we have Blood, Mikey, Red Plastic Bag, Cavite Corral, Crystal Cummins Beckles holder, and all of the staff and students, and we will just be there having a fun time. We have a marching band, we have a Mother Sally Tuck band, we have everyone, and we're asking you to come out in your yellow, or if you want to, if you remember your faculty color, you can wear your faculty color, but blackbirds are yellow and black, so we're going to go with that color. And you can also get your t-shirts, your 60th anniversary t-shirts at the UE bookshop. And come out and celebrate with us. And we're inviting the public. We're going to stay well after. Well, we said we're going to go from 2 till 5. But
we know how it goes.
Yes, we're going to have food and drinks on sale. So we're inviting everyone to come and just enjoy the start of our celebrations.
Indeed. I mean, every great reason to as well. It's going to be spectacular in the way the university has always done it, outstandingly. And because time is against me, I really can't go any further. But
I'm going to tell you one thing quickly.
Sure.
At the Walk of Fame, we have Adrian Green, who is also a student, a graduate student of the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts. And at Quaz Quest, we're also going to have other students, other persons performing. So we're going to have 2 installations at those 2 locations. And they're important for people to understand our history. So we do want to incorporate that into the parade. But otherwise, we're going to be going down the road.
Well, for a whole year, girl, back in sport. It's only just begun, as another famous person would have said. It's only really just begun. And it starts next week, Friday. There's a press discussion happening on the Thursday press conference, and then you're going to be having the big celebration with the parade on Friday, next week Friday, beginning at 2 in the afternoon. Every good reason for all of us, because the community is a part of us. You may have not been there, but you have a relative who has, or you know of a friend who has been benefiting from the University of the West Indies, or you just want to be on the compound as well. Come. Many opportunities throughout the year for either guided tours as well, but this is just the start of a great year of celebration with the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill. I can't implore upon you enough to be a part of it indeed. Thank you, Dr. Carter. Thank you, my good friend Carla, as well. I wish you the very best with this whole week of year of activities. And do come back because I need to hear more. You got me sitting on the edge. I need to hear more of what's happening at the University of the West Indies.
Hikes as well.
Boy, don't start me now.
We have the first of 11 parish hikes.
The 22nd of January?
Yes, the 22nd of January. So we'll be back next week.
We'll do that next week. We'll do that next week indeed. We'll take a break right here on Morning Barbados. We're coming back with more in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Everything gonna be alright.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Max Pack Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade or come in and sign up for a new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
The CBC that made us, featuring programming from yesteryear, which impacted the lives of many Barbadians. Join me, Sean Green.
I don't want to go anymore. Tana me gon' frighten me. Tana me gon' drown in me. Tana me gon' hurt me belly. Tana me a too much of me. Oh, Tana me, yo. Tana me, yo. Tana me, oh, Tana me. Tana me, Tana me.
Woohoo! Wow, Gavin.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
11 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock. You just heard what I think is some really, really great music there coming from this man. His name is Gavin Mendonca. I said it correctly? He's from Guyana and he's in Barbados at the moment. Good morning to you, Gavin.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Barbados.
Thank you so much for being a part of us and sharing really what is a part of your culture, your folk songs from Guyana. But you've also done some folk songs that we know too, right? Like Sly Mongoose and the like.
Yeah.
What started you with collecting the folk songs of Guyana?
So I started off as a rock musician, and I'm still a rock musician, which is very underground in Guyana and in the Caribbean.
Yes.
But we've managed to grow a community between Trinidad, Suriname, Guyana. I actually hold something called the Rock and Metal Battle this year, which will see bands from the Caribbean come to Guyana to compete for a chance to go to Germany. But through my career as a rock musician, I felt like I struggled to find identity. And I didn't want to just sound like another rock musician. So I wanted to sound like a Guyanese rock musician. So I started experimenting with our folk songs and blending rock and roll with it. And I created Creole Rock, which is this fusion of Guyanese folk songs and or dialect and rock and roll. And of course inspired by people like Dave Martins and the Trade Winds and Eddie Grant.
Yes.
And in my search to display authentic Guyanese identity, I found folk songs and I found similarities in folk music and punk rock. Same simple chord progressions, repetitive themes, that kind of stuff. So I became very interested in representing my culture more and more as I traveled the world, and I've been able to do that successfully all around the world.
What's been the general response to what you offer?
It's always, to me, it always seems like people are amazed by what, especially outside of the Caribbean, when they see someone like me talking the right talk, singing the right sing. So I think it's a great response.
You seem so connected to your guitar. I love that. The fact that it is a part of who you are and not just the instrument. And so talk to me about the relationship with the guitar for you.
For sure. My guitar is an extension of myself. You know, it's more than just a musical instrument. It's how I'm able, I think of myself as like a wizard, and this is my magic wand. And with it I can manifest these things in my head and manifest the dreams that I want to become reality. So my guitar has led me around the world to again represent Guyana at Dubai Expo, at Beijing Expo, in Brazil, and around the Caribbean. I also one of the directors of the Rupununi Music and Arts Festival in Guyana, which is a 3-day world music camping festival that brings people to Guyana from around the world. So one of my main goals is to create these cultural bridges through music, so that we could explore ourselves and our own identities and share, just share. Music is about sharing and caring, and folk music especially is music, I believe, by the folk, for the folk.
You mentioned Dave Martins, who himself is a great folklorist through the Trade Winds work as well. Have you documented your work through recordings at all?
Oh yeah, my drummer Chucky and I from Buxton Fusion, in 2019 we started a project called Folk It Up, where we found a book of Guyanese folk songs. And Guyanese folk songs, you know, they're kind of fading away. The young people don't really care too much about.
Happens here too.
Yeah, so we made it our mission to contribute to the preservation of our folk songs by recording a series of albums. So in 2019 we released Folk It Up Volume 1, and this past Christmas we released Folk It Up Volume 2, and it's all a collection of Guyanese folk songs and national songs, and even a couple of originals, as we now write inspired by our folk songs and that kind of stuff.
And what's been the reception by the Guyanese to what you're offering?
A lot of folks are very pleased that a group of young people are so interested in preserving our Guyanese culture. So it's been great.
I think, I'm assuming that when you travel and you take your work and you perform to different cultures and different spaces with different people who don't know who we are, what kinds of interactions do you have following those performances about what you offer?
I've been able to have some really cool interactions with people. For example, last October I was in North Carolina in the US for Ethno USA, which is part of a bigger group of events called Ethno World, where every year in multiple countries they bring musicians from all around the world together. So at Ethno USA it was about 30 of us from about 12 different countries. We lived together for 10 days. We shared each other's songs, we built a set list, and we performed at a couple festivals as a world music ensemble. And through that experience, I've pitched the idea of creating Ethno Caribbean, where we could host this ethno event in a different island or on a different in a different country around the Caribbean every year, bringing people, other musicians, other creatives to the Caribbean. So again, we could share cultures and learn more about being human through music.
You love music.
I do. It's my life.
Clearly. I mean, because you're still very young, and here it is, you're talking in the way you talk, which says to me it has been always who you have been. And who do you think you would have you patterned yourself after anyone? Who introduced you to music?
It kind of ran in my family to a very minor degree. My nanny used to sing a lot and play the drums, and my uncle Jude was a drummer in a local rock band in the 90s. But you know, it was just me expressing myself and using music and art and poetry as a way to express how I feel inside. And my efforts, I grew up in Scouts as well, so very community oriented, and I just want to contribute to society.
Yeah. You said you had a passion for rock music. You're still pretty much at the core of who you are, that rock man. Have you found the pull between the tug between either rock, folk, and you found your fusion, or is it at some point you think you want to go back to doing rock?
I get to live the best of both worlds. Last summer I spent in New York playing in a rock band around New York City. So I was able to accomplish a bunch of dreams. So I get to live my double career, and they parallel each other, where I get to do rock and roll as well as folk music, and many times I get to blend the two, and one usually opens or unlocks opportunities for the other.
Oh, that's sweet. So who are some of your favorite rock artists over time?
Nirvana, Blink-182, Metallica. I played bass in a heavy metal band as well back home.
I get where you're going. I get where you're going.
Yeah.
But is there space in Guyana for that kind of music, or is it still very much underground?
It is very much underground, but the rock scene has seen a huge growth since post-pandemic, because we've brought bands from Trinidad, from Suriname, and again, like I said, we're hosting the Wacken Metal Battle February 18th, which will see bands from Guadeloupe, Puerto Rico, Trinidad, Suriname, and Guyana perform in Guyana. So there is space. Yeah.
Now, Ghana is our brother. Ghana is our sister. Barbados and Ghana have this warm, loving relationship for years now. How do you feel about bringing what you're bringing to Barbados?
Yeah, you know, I found in my research of folk music, I found that a lot of folk songs that we thought were Guyanese folk songs are spread across the Caribbean.
Yes.
Either different versions of them, slightly changed lyrics, that kind of stuff. So to me, like you said, we're brothers, we're sisters. The Caribbean has this shared culture through music. And I think the more we tap into that, the more we could continue to foster great community relationships among the Caribbean nations.
Sly Mongoose, go. Let me see if this is a Sly Mongoose I know. I mean, slightly different words, but hey.
Yeah, and you know, again, in Guyana, we literally get mongoose crawling into the yards.
Oh boy.
So our version is Sly Mongoose, who named Mama Ball. Because you always gotta shout at the mongoose because he coming and teeth chicken, literally. Yeah.
That's good. But so you've got your recordings. And so for anyone in Barbados today who is saying, yeah, I like what I'm hearing, how can we get recordings?
So my music is all over Spotify and all the major streaming platforms. If you search my name, or you search Gavin and Chucky, or you search Creole Rock, or you could go to creolerock.com and you'll find links to all of my releases. And surprise, I will actually be performing in Barbados March 25th, part of the Bridgetown International Arts Festival.
Yes.
The Music is Life Festival on March 25th at the museum.
Oh, nice.
So I will be here in
March.
In Barbados in March, and I hope that the Guyanese community here could come out as well.
Oh, they will come out. The Guyanese here are very, very active indeed. They will definitely come out in support of you. Gavin, I want to thank you so very much for joining us here on Morning Barbados today. Good luck with all of your future endeavors, and may you continue to fuse in the way that you fuse, because it is really, really good. And continue playing music, my friend.
Thank you so much for
You're
having
welcome.
me.
So Gavin is going to take us out on a song. I want to thank all of you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you, if it be God's will, on Monday. Take care from the crew to all of you. Good morning. Bye-bye. Gavin?
Chicken and put it in a Westcott pocket. Sly Mongoose.